Are we awake? Are we awake? Are we ever awake? Maybe you're asleep right now. Let's do. I always start in the same corner as well. Little parachutes. Ooh. Let's get our wrist in order, working. Whew. Good morning, Mantis. How are you doing?
What's your day looking like? You got much drawing planned? I don't know if you're in the same time zone as me. You might have already had your day. Might be winding down. Whew. Oh, good. Very good. So the only reason I do these streams is because then I go to work and I don't think I would draw much otherwise. I think I would come home from work and I would be too tired to want to draw, so I get it done early. Good morning, King of PC. How are you doing? Good. Very good. Got any plans for the day? You can do any drawing? I don't know what this weird headdress is. Should we just give him some wizardy hair? Let's keep him there. I think I'm drawing smaller than usual. Blech. Okay, let's get up. What should we draw? I'm still kind of trying to figure out mammals. I just want to get to the point where I can draw them from imagination, you know. Good morning, Ike. There's a very funny Saiga antelope head. I'm thinking how weird can some of these shapes get? Like, what's strange? Yeah, it was a Saiga antelope for a moment. Yeah, that's almost exactly what I'm imagining. Or that like it lives in quite a mountainous place, and so as it like here's a cliff, here's it, and as it goes down, it goes down. Front legs first, and they're these big inflated things that like cushion its fall. You know. But I don't know. I don't like the horns. I feel like the horns could be more interesting. Maybe just something like that. I know I just said more interesting, but I'll call that guy a saxon. I think that's interesting. I feel like it's quite a nice thing getting to the point with studying something where you feel able or comfortable just sketching out cool stuff, you know. Does it effectively have like an arrow on its head? Like, oh, I jumped down things? I don't know. Maybe that's a bit silly. Yeah, I think it's a bit silly. Good morning, 5. I'm not on the webcam mic. I'm probably just being unnecessarily quiet. The music might also be a little bit loud. I can turn the music down a little bit. But no, this is the proper mic. I'm just very quiet. I do have a proper mic, but it always sounded really bad to me. And so I never used it, you know. It's a reasonably alien looking guy. What a silly thing. Let's take him. Take him somewhere else. Maybe he should be a sort of smaller, nippier character. Oh, who's sending in all the heart reacts? There's a little guy. Maybe he'll fit back up here now. Almost. Let's just move these guys down. Yeah, I think he's cute. I mean, yeah, so I've done... God, I don't know, 5 pages of Dias, and now I'm like inventing them, which is nice. So it's cool that you can sort of get to that point, you know, with not that much work, I don't think. Yeah, that's kind of effectively what I'm doing, like, is I've got a little notebook, and the notebook has just a list of different, not different animals, but different genus of animals, and they're in a kind of tick box format, and so I'm just going to go through and I'm going to draw them all. But I've got it written down like 100 of each, so I need 100 like deer-esque creatures before I can move on to other stuff, which is fun. The leftmost creatures look so angelic and soft. If it had a name, it should be called Marshmallow. Oh, that's nice. Now, previously I've been representing these with like quite rigid forms in perspective. its back legs are doing. Maybe it has none. Maybe we put it here. It does make it sound edible. Maybe it is quite an edible creature. The predators are only. It's like they basically have an expiration date. They're juicy and delicious for the first 6 months of their life, and as soon as they get past that, they're basically safe. No one ever wants to hunt them ever again. Oh, poor things. Like, I think I'm understanding the body plan of a deer now. I think I'm getting it. Like, I think we can take a box and then we can like just trim off the front a little bit, and I think that is good enough as like a deer's rib cage almost. Then the neck is going to attach here, but I think it attaches lower down. And we can attach this is the but actually I think that drops. It drops lower. Maybe the stomach should start protruding out from underneath the front block. Oh my god, we've almost hit our hour and we've not filled a page. I think the box should get wider. Encore. I've got to get a train at some point, but we can go for a little bit longer. The profile of this is should be something much more like that. Yeah, maybe it should be that shape, like a loaf of bread almost. Yeah. Whew. The nose is it needs to get much thinner in the middle, like that. Pen tablet. No screen. I hate screen tablets. I hate screen tablets. God, even you bringing up screen tablets has sent me into a rage. Screen tablets smell. Screen tablets are poopy. Screen tablets deserve no quarter. Oh no, come back. God, if I could erase screen tablets from the planet, the world would be a better place. I mean, the main reason I don't like screen tablets is because they're just used as an excuse by so many students. Oh, I can't draw. Yeah, it's not me. It's not me that can't draw. It's this. I need a very very expensive tablet in order to be able to draw properly. Sorry. Um, meanwhile, Craig Mullins is painting with a mouse and whatever else. You one of them? Oh, despicable, despicable Ike. Oh, not much overlap on this page. Usually the pages are full of overlappies. I really don't like this man. I'm wiping him off I've been staring at him for the past hour. He's being destroyed. What did the little man ever do to me? Yeah, probably nothing, but yeah. gonna do camels? Yeah, I'll do camels. Yeah. I've not studied camels before. No, I'll study some camels. That sounds really cool. He is like a bunny goat. There you go. He does have back legs. Do you know, I'm just trying to figure out, you know, like I'm reasonably comfortable just drawing like heads or faces from my imagination. And I wonder if I can just get to the same. Well, I guess that's the goal of these, like, doing loads of drawings of these things, is that I'd get to the same point where I would just be able to. You know, like that's. I think I'm getting somewhere. I don't think I could have drawn this. It's still a little bit boxy. I think I'm relying on those boxy construction kind of shapes, you know. And I think the boxier it is, the more it sort of begins to look like a cow instead of a deer or an antelope. But we're getting there. We're getting there. And it's a joy. It really is a joy to have the creative freedom of just being able to put pen to page and draw stuff like that, you know. Hello, Lilypad. Thank you. Thank you. Like I don't really know what this animal is, but that's okay. There you go, he's got his leg up. He's sort of pointing like a dog. like a pointer would. Thank you. Yeah, but it's interesting. They're I guess they're studies in the sense that I'm trying to learn how to draw a certain thing. They're not studies in the sense that all of them, apart from one, are from my imagination. I feel like I've had this conversation 5 times in the past week because I've been posting these drawings everywhere, and people keep asking. People are like, "Oh, where'd you get the references for all these?" It's like, no, I don't. I don't get the references for all of these. Thank you. Which is maybe why I'm struggling so much. Maybe I should just get some references out. I like this idea that you start. I think I'm gonna start recommending this to students. Like, this one is the one study over here. So this one's from a reference of a Saiga antelope, and then everything else is invented. And I feel like it's useful because you sort of have to intake this information, and then it's almost like you're recycling it. You're like, well, how can I take this stuff and what would it look like from another angle, or how can I take these face shapes and like warp them or change them, or let's. Yeah, you do have to think when you draw. You do. As annoying as that is, like I'm just trying to think about which forms are overlapping which, and that the stomach should probably come in front of that back leg. But you're right, it is incredibly draining to think while you draw. some broadly appealing shapes. It's very, very satisfying when you can. But God, has it taken me a long time. I don't think that should be. I have to be grateful for all of the effort that I went to get to this point. A lot of the time, because I obviously I've started drawing a lot more than painting, and I got this feeling or thought in the back of my mind, which is, oh God, like, did I just waste the last 7 years painting? Should I have just been drawing this whole time? I guess it's not worth thinking about because I can't reverse time. But at the same time, I'm a teacher, right? So it kind of is worth thinking about. What would be the best thing if I had a student and they wanted to learn? Would I not get them painting? Would I keep them in the drawing phase for much, much, much longer? I think I probably would, actually. I think looking at well, even what makes a good painting, it's always going to be drawing, and you can obviously draw while painting, and like, I guess picking up on different shapes and things that you're seeing while painting is a form of drawing and probably helps. But this kind of drawing, where you're really almost purely invested in like the analytical, constructive aspect, and you're rotating things. I just think rotations are the most powerful thing ever for learning, and it's not the first time I'm figuring that out. I remember being a student and doing life drawing, and I would draw the model in front of me. Here they are. And then I would almost immediately, from my head, try and draw them from like another angle, right? And I didn't know why I was doing that, but it helped. I was like, oh, this is demonstrating some kind of and I just think it encodes the information in your brain so much quicker. Stupidly fast. And I see people who will just do, like, I'm doing 100 goats / deer, but it's kind of, a lot of those are invented or whatever else, right? But I see people who would just do 100 studies from images of deer. And that works. You'll get some information out of it, but it's not. I don't think it's the most efficient use of your time, and I think it's very difficult to wean yourself off that. I think studying an image is an easy win. It's not. I don't want to come off arrogant. It's not difficult to draw something from an image. You could grid up the image and then draw square by square. You could literally measure out each point and then almost like construct it. So it would be a very technical thing, but it wouldn't be very like artistic or challenging. It would just be arduous and annoying. It would be a boring process, but not a difficult one. So I think it's reasonably easy to teach someone to copy an image. And I do that in the first module that I teach at university. We do technical drawing, and I teach people how to copy images of rocks and trees and whatever else, which is fine. But it's the understanding the subject that's in the image and understanding it well enough to begin rotating it or moving it around or warping it or stretching it or whatever else. And I think that understanding is difficult to get when you're just copying from flat images. Yeah, I guess shape dynamics are one of those things that I think comes fairly intuitively. Not even anatomy. Like when I guess I am. Yeah, I am with deer. I am worried about the anatomy. But it's broader than that. It's just form in perspective. Like, can you rotate a cube while retaining its proportions, like its height versus its width versus its depth? Can you warp that cube and like bend it and stretch it and whatever, and then rotate that warped form without it like losing the same proportions? And I think as soon as you can nail that, you can basically make anything you want. Like everything's just cylinders and cubes, but you need to be able to draw the cylinders and cubes. And I think people underestimate how difficult that is. Maybe it's like, oh, cubes, I know how to draw a cube, but do you know how to draw a cube from every angle, every focal length, every deformation you can think of? Which is why these warm-ups, like, they just sit in the corner. But they're the first thing I do, and I do think they're genuinely very helpful. They also serve a kind of secondary objective, which is they get rid of that scary blank canvas that maybe makes us not want to draw or not want to engage with the page. So I think they are helpful. And then I get the fun of colouring in at the end. Yeah, rotating forms is just is best practice. I don't see why you wouldn't. Maybe if you're just getting into learning how to draw, then it would be too difficult and you wouldn't gain any meaningful information from it because you'd just be struggling that much. But as soon as you're able to begin trying to rotate forms, I think you should begin trying to rotate forms. I think you should get on that. And you'll get to a point where something in your brain just clicks. Like, I used to really struggle with rotating forms. I would look at these things and I'd have a really hard time trying to understand the 3D space that they're occupying or whatever. And now I don't know, it always reminds me, and I've said this before, so apologies if you've heard this analogy before. I used to have a Spanish teacher called Mr. Ledgeham. And he was telling off a student once, and to make a comparison, he said, "You think in English and translate it to Spanish. I think in Spanish." And that is the exact same thing as what I'm describing. Is like you'll start thinking in 2D, and then trying to like translate those 2D forms into 3D space, and it'll be really weird. And then eventually you will get to a point where no, actually you're just thinking in 3D. Like I'm thinking with 3D space in mind. It's a weird thing. Let's make this guy red, actually. Yeah. I enjoy coloring in my drawings. You think in 3D, but you struggle to put that 3D stuff down as 2D shapes. Yeah, I've got to figure out a way to teach this more effectively. I mean, even just the the Scott Robertson cubes and things. Mirrored planes, I think, are a great example. let's very quickly, before I have to go, let's talk about mirrored planes. So when you start out and you're mirroring planes, it's really difficult. Like even just like mirroring this, and all we're gonna do is mirror it across there. Like you'd struggle to do that on your own. You have to draw the cross through. You have to carry on these lines. That cross through is incorrect. It's probably going to be there. Then you got to draw through the back corner, through the center, which is like miles away. There's that much distortion, you know. Whoop. Right, and now we have a mirrored plane. And it's a pretty crazy kind of mirroring. And then, God, don't even get onto... That is an angled, rotated, mirrored plane. And you have to, like... You have to really figure that out. But once you do enough of them, you will just get to a point where you can just draw them. And it's the weirdest feeling, but you just have a feeling for how these things should behave in 3D space almost. And I really had this, and so I had to teach students how to like mirror it properly, and I was almost struggling because I don't do this. I haven't done this for years. Every time I mirror a plane, I just mirror it. Same thing with stacked planes. Like, can we? And you can just stack them, but like that's very difficult initially. But I think, yeah, this is a good example of something that you practice very, very, very consciously, and you do all of the stuff to figure it out. But then once you get just a sense for how these shapes look in perspective, something happens. And like these shapes here, these two mirrored angled planes, are the same as these horns, right? So these horns effectively, let's imagine they are two flat shapes. Let's close that. Like they're mirrored along that line. Does that make sense? Another comparison you could think of is like samurai helmets. Like if you have some kind of fancy crest on the front of a samurai helmet, maybe it looks like that. Well, that's going to be one side. But maybe the other side is going to be flattened, you know, and the mirror line is there or something. But you can turn that very easily if you just alter the bottom and top ellipses. Very easily that becomes like a 3D object that is mirrored in some way or another. So I think mirrored planes are just the best thing ever. And so you'll always catch me drawing mirrored planes when I warm up. Or on the train or anywhere else. I think they're insanely useful. Let's catch it with chat, shall we? You got to think when you draw. Yeah, you do. You're gonna start drawing instead of painting. Painting is very fun, but drawing is kind of at the core of painting. Even if you maybe you should draw out the thing that you're going to paint and then paint it. Like on top of the drawing, I think maybe that would be good practice. There's a benefit to going straight into a painting with shape alone. Obviously, it's more abstract, but this stuff, especially if you want to be a designer and you want to do like concept design, I think just drawing is more valuable than painting. Yeah, I think, well, that's what I've been doing. So any of these pages, I will do one from one study, which is this one in the middle, this head, and then the whole rest of the page is imaginative. I'm going, what is this 3D form and the shapes that I'm seeing? Could I draw them from another angle? And I take my time. Like I don't rush it and try and do it very, very quickly. And a lot of the time I'll make loads of mistakes and I end up erasing and going back in and whatever else. But you end up with something reasonably 3D. Even though I just draw cubes and cylinders when I can, I've seen myself getting better at second nature. Just draw them, yeah. Yeah, the brain is an amazing thing. Mirrored planes, get on mirrored planes. What I found out is the wave graph I made. What's the wave graph that I made? The wave graph. What could that refer to? Let me save. Save this out. Well, you said that learn by... Yeah, you'll have to find it for me and send it me on Teams or something. Learn by seeing. Then you have to learn to draw after seeing. It's that move from optical to conceptual drawing, isn't it? I think I want to draw like pigs and stuff soon. Okay, I'm gonna have to end this stream. I'm not drawing anymore. And I need to go and eat. But thank you for coming along. I've got two chats going at the same time. I've got Twitch and YouTube. When you learn to draw, you see your mistakes before you can fix them because you need to draw more. Oh, it's not the Dunning-Kruger. Yeah, it looks like a helix, doesn't it? Like a DNA helix. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Right. Bye-bye.